What's up, everyone? It is Diecastbuffet here again, going way back to 2001 with Rusty Wallace. We got an alternate paint scheme here in the studio. This is the, well, it's the Rusty, should be Miller Lite, Harley Davidson Ford Taurus. And it's one of the alternate paint schemes of the early 2000s. Let's check it out. And here we go, folks, with today's Diecast review. This is a car that was produced probably very early 2001, maybe even late year 2000, because it was a big partnership with Rusty Wallace. And people forget how popular NASCAR really was back then, and the Harley-Davidson partnership with Miller Lite. I think this was one of a couple years they ran this promotion. I know in 2002, I think they had the Flame car. This one has kind of the silver wings, if you will, around the diecast. There is some differences to the real car. We'll be talking about that as we go in today's diecast review. Of course, if you want to help support the channel, fellas, you know what to do. Head down in the description, check out that promo code at Circle B. You don't have to use it, but if you want to help support the channel, allow me to do videos like this, feel free to check it out. So naturally, it's supposed to say, you know, Miller Lite on the hood, but this is what they would call a censored version or the youth version of it. So it has a Rusty with a very similar font and background design to the Miller Lite logo. Now, I do think they made the actual Miller Lite version of this car probably in the 164 Elite or the 164 Club cars. So that one is still out there, I'd imagine. Got Harley Davidson motorcycles there. Go to the front of the diecast here. Obviously, you have the metallic Miller Lite blue, which is very iconic during the Rusty Wallace mid to late era. Go to the front of the car, you have the metallic silver as well. You have your Ford Taurus headlights. You have the orange stripe across the lower front valence. You got the Union 76 25 years anniversary logo. Got comp on both sides. I think there's some contingencies missing here as well, because only 2 contingencies on the front end of a Winston Cup car. I feel like that's kind of rare. Taurus right there. The decal's a little bit off, but then again, it could be considered accurate because the front end of these cars, if you remember, were very skewed out. This is back when the whole front ends on the stock cars were all sheet metal, and they would skew them out and pretty much make them as aerodynamical as possible, and depending on the racetrack, they would modify it. Like a Martinsville nose would be completely different than an Auto Club Speedway nose. So technically, anytime you get a screwed up front end on a 164 from the Gen 4 era, it's probably accurate, honestly. Now, this is not accurate right here in the number 2, and this kind of bugs me a little bit. I'm going to keep it honest with you, is how small the number 2 is of this car. I mean, wow. On the real car, it's a much larger number. I'm going to show another diecast here just to show an example. Now, I understand this is a 2-digit number, but this is a raced version Texas Elliott Sadler from 2004. So this is based off the real car. And you can see how much real estate the door number actually takes. And then look at the number 2 there. So obviously I understand one of them is a 2-digit one and one's a single digit, but I digress. My point is there's a lot of real estate they didn't use up by that. Kind of bugs me a little bit. Now, this is a used car, so you can see there is some scratches right there on the left side of the diecast, and it's something that's really cool about the used diecast is each one kind of tells their own story, so to speak. And, every, used diecast, they're all different in their own ways. They all have, a few paint chips here and there, scratches, whatever it be. So it's kind of cool to do a diecast review once in a while on the used ones. So you got Harley-Davidson motorcycles there, Lennox Tools, the one Mead. It gets over here to the contingency panel, which looks very much like the 2020s era of the contingency panels, or technically late 2010s, where it's just like a single bar. So I think the idea with it was they wanted this like silver wing to be kind of, not covered up by contingencies, at least for the early production run. I don't remember how many was on the actual race car, but that definitely reminds me of like a 2018 Cup car. Got Goodyear there. You got NASCAR race car, NASCAR Cup Series, True Value. Got the, what is remaining of the Bud Pole Award logo. Got Clevite, Simpson, Moog, and another decal there. Go to the B post. You have the Ford logo. You have PPG, Snap-on, and Mazak. You got Bosch right there on the C-pillar. Now, notice the rear panel of the car is all painted black. So you have silver in the front, metallic blue on the top, and then you have gloss black around the back end of the car. And I'm not sure what was supposed to be here on the back bumper. I imagine if it was a Miller Lite sponsorship or something, they would have just put Rusty Wallace or rustywallace.com or something, which he probably had a website back then. This was back when all the NASCAR drivers would have even fan clubs. So there was a lot of different things different in the early 2000s with the NASCAR Winston Cup Series. Got Harley Davidson right there on the left tail light with the number 2 on the right tail light. It's a little bit skewed, but it kind of reminds me of the backmarker cars where it's just a standard, unsponsored tailpiece. It's very rare that we see that with Cup Series diecast of the Gen 4 era because, almost every single car had sponsorship. The right side of the diecast got a little bit of a factory error here. Is the number 2, let's see. Yeah, this one, okay, so the number 2 is much more further back on this side. This one's more forward. So, this side actually looks pretty decent. But this one, I don't know what it is, but yeah, they didn't check it when they, before they made the final production run, they do a prototype or two. They didn't check this one. Now, there is some scratches there. I don't think that is, from the diecast aging. I think that's actually probably from wear or, a factory error. Also, you got Rusty Wallace right there on the name rail. And then you go over to the top of the diecast, you have their number 2. Now, I don't know if the orange on this diecast is fluorescent. I can't really tell in studio, but it's definitely a brighter shade of orange. You can see a ton of scratches here. Now, again, I don't know if these little scratches right here are decal cracking or they're from, wear and tear, because you can see a pretty gnarly blemish right there in the clear coat. So this car naturally slid on its roof. So I can't really verify that. You got automotive finishes or automotive refinish with PPG there, which they're still a sponsor with Penske. This is back when Penske was just known as, I think, Penske Racing, and then they had Penske Racing South. I'm not really sure the differences between them. I don't know if they were 2 different shops. I have no idea. But yeah, that was, oh my goodness, 24, 25 years ago, depending when you're watching this video. Here's the bottom of the diecast here, 2001 Ford Taurus. And, my honest take on the Ford Taurus diecast mold, it's not the most accurate in my opinion. I still think Hot Wheels produced the best, most accurate version of the Ford Taurus. I feel like the Action Winter Circle one is a little bit too narrow, and I do feel like the roof is just a little narrow as well. They nailed the Monte Carlo from pretty much any era, honestly. Once they finally got rid of making the giant diecast molds, the really bulky ones in the mid to late 90s, and they made the 1998 Monte Carlo, pretty much since then they've nailed it, right? But for whatever reason, the Action Winter Circle Ford, in my honest opinion, could have been a little bit better. The Hot Wheels one, in my opinion, is the best one. I think Racing Champions did a fantastic job as well. But, the diecast metal is so brittle. That one's a story for a different day. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it, fellas. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you're curious, yes, they overproduced this car to the cows come home. You could probably get every single Rusty Wallace Winter Circle diecast since year 2000 in an abundance, because they made so many of them, guys. The youth versions, they even made the actual Miller Lite versions. You can get those. They also made them with the little bottles and whatnot. You can get those. They're pretty darn cool. So plenty of them out there floating about. Definitely like the 2004. What was it? The Martinsville win. Yeah, that would be a fun diecast one of these days to do a diecast review on. Is his Martinsville win, which was his final career win in 2004. They actually made a 1/64 scale for that. So that'd be something cool to get in the studio one day. Thank you all for watching. Have a blessed one. DB, signing off.